everyone, I am your produce guy, and today I'm taking some of this super fresh homegrown rhubarb and I'm going to make a delicious granita out of it. Now a granita is a frozen dessert. It's sort of like a super fancy snow cone and it's really delicious. Now if you are not fortunate enough to have a bunch of rhubarb grown in your backyard, go ahead and click on my rhubarb bowl here and I will teach you how to select rhubarb at the store. Now today I have taken the rosiest part of the rhubarb and I've rough chopped it. I've sliced it down the center of the stalk and then sliced it crossways. Did that because we want this to break down in our syrup. Now I'm not going to waste these green portions here. The flavor is consistent throughout, so I'm going to use those in a delicious rhubarb pie. But I want the rosier parts to be in the recipe to give a nice color to that granita at the end. So this is 4 simple ingredients. Let's go ahead and assemble those right now. Alright, we're going to start with 2.5 cups of, in this case, spring water, non-chlorinated, great tasting water. 4 cups of that roughly chopped rhubarb, mostly from the rosy portions of the rhubarb stalk. 1 cup of granulated white sugar, and then a ½ teaspoon of some kosher salt. Now we're going to go ahead and take this over to the stove. I've got the pot on the stove. We're going to bring it up to a simmer and then reduce the heat down to a medium. We've got a simple syrup in here with water and sugar, and then the rhubarb is going to break down and infuse that syrup with the delicious rhubarb flavor and bleed that color out into our syrup. We want to cook this down into a nice mush. It's probably going to take about 15 minutes. You need to stir it occasionally. Keep an eye on it. Doesn't need to be stirred constantly, but it is sugar in there, so we got to keep an eye on it. You can see about 5 minutes on the stove here, and this is starting to break down. You can see the fibers all coming apart, and the liquid is getting that nice pink color that we want to have for our granita. 15 minutes on the stove, and that's mostly broken down. What wasn't broken down on its own, I gave it a nice smash with the spoon, and we're ready for the next step, where we are going to strain this mixture through our strainer there. Got a very nice strainer. We're going to do this in a couple of batches. Don't pour too much in, it makes it hard to work with. So I'm going to go about half, and remember this is hot syrup, so you want to be careful. You can see the steam coming off of it, I'm sure. I'm going to take my soup ladle and I'm going to push through the rhubarb pulp. Whatever will go through the strainer will end up in the granita. And of course that sugar is infused in there, so we want to get what pulp will go through, but we want a nice smooth product here at the end. So I'll go ahead and work through this and we'll move forward. Alright, I've got my granita base here. It's all strained out. Look at that. We're going to pour it right in here. I've taken the largest baking dish that I've got. So we get that spread out there. This is going to go in the freezer, and then we'll let this freeze for about an hour, after which we'll come out with a fork and we'll scrape up the frozen parts, and we'll repeat that process probably 3 more times until it is frozen into that fabulous snow cone I was telling you about. You can see now this has been in the freezer a little bit more than an hour, and it's setting up really nicely. Now this is where the magic happens. We just come and give this a little shredding here with a fork. That's the beauty of a granita. It needs no specialized equipment. And we'll probably have to repeat this process 3 more times, but we'll get this shredded up into that delicious snow cone consistency that you are going to love. Okay, here it is, our finished product. Let's go ahead and have a little taste there, nice and icy. And oh, that's perfect. Rhubarb, a little bit tart, a little bit sweet, icy, wonderful. This turned out great. Now we're going to go ahead and serve this. We'll put it back in the freezer and get it all chilled for serving it in a little cup with a nice ginger snap cookie. Ginger and rhubarb just go together great. Thanks so much for being with us. I am your produce guy. Be sure to check us out on Google Plus and Facebook. And I'll see you next time when we once again will talk about fresh is best. We'll see you then. Now, the genesis of this is from our When Is It Ripe pineapple video, where the discussion in the comments has been all about, do pineapples actually ripen after you remove them from the plant? Some say no, I say yes. So here's what we're going to do. I've got 3 super green pineapples.